Welcome to Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. This is not your typical financial radio show. As a licensed CPA, insurance agent, and investment advisory representative, Chris coaches his clients on a holistic view of financial well-being with an objective of providing a complete financial strategy to fund life's goals. Chris is here to guide you down the path to the financial serenity you deserve. Now, here's Chris Cooper.
All right, good morning, folks. What's going on? So it is the last Sunday of March. I told you this month was going to fly by. This year's already flying by. Quarter one is done. We got Easter next weekend, and it's time to start thinking about enjoying the outdoors. And what better way to plan for great outdoor season than making sure your lawn is in great condition and a happy place to be. So I've got in studio with me today, we've got Ken and Jen with Showcase Lawn. How are you guys?
Great.
Good.
Good. Well, thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thanks
and
for having us.
Also for helping me with my yard, because I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's going to green up this year and, being able to enjoy my outdoor space. So tell me a little bit about what you guys are all about and how you make sure that the lawns you have are truly, that you service, are showcase worthy.
Oh,
I'll start. So we're a full service maintenance company.
Okay.
We don't really do a lot of installation. We really want to help you maintain what you have.
Okay.
And so we offer irrigation maintenance. We offer lawn, fertilization, weed control, trimming bushes, mulch installation, mowing, and we have a small area that we mow in.
Uh-huh.
But, primarily we just want to make what you have, help you maintain it, keep it healthy. Those things start with a good foundation. So,
Yeah.
Like for our fertilization and weed control program, that our new clients that we have on that, we always start with a soil test.
Okay.
We want to check where your soil is,
establish a baseline.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Now, soil in this area, is everyone's soil in this area very similar, or?
Predominantly clay.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
not
what
the
I,
best.
yeah, I wouldn't think so. No. Now, grass is fairly resilient though?
It is.
Yeah.
Turf type tall fescue is
Okay.
the most dominant in our area.
Yeah.
And we'll see variants of other things, but that's really the best thing for a lawn in this area.
But clay is not exactly the best to start with. If you were like coming in and saying, hey, I really want to have this really great yard and I have the ability to put any kind of soil down, you wouldn't start with clay.
No, the best would be like a loam.
Yeah.
You're going to find that in
But we don't
farmland.
have that option
we
when we
don't.
build
We
houses
don't.
in this
No.
area, do we?
No.
Yeah. You
You-
go with what you have.
the builder comes in and they buy a big plot of land and they
Yeah.
sell off the topsoil. And then we're trying to bring the clay back
You
up
do what
to,
you can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You do what you can. So what are so you're testing for the soil type to understand kind of some of the different composition there. It's probably not just about the clay. It's also about like acidity levels and things like that, right?
pH is really important. If your
Yeah.
pH levels are off, then there can be nutrients in the soil, but the plant can't absorb them
Okay.
if the pH is not right for it.
Yeah.
So you want to get that more neutral, about I'd say at least 6.5 to 6.8, 7
Okay.
is optimal
Okay.
for grass.
Gotcha. Now, and then the type of grass in this area is pretty commonly, it's fescue, is that right?
Correct.
So that's what we usually have?
Yes.
Okay. Because I've also like bluegrass and things like that too. Is that the same?
No, bluegrass is a different variety of grass.
Okay.
But we used to do a lot of sod work, and all the sod farms produced tons of bluegrass, and a lot of them have really gotten away from it because it just doesn't fare well. It has a shallower root system, and requires a lot more watering. throughout
Okay.
The summertime, and fescue is just better for that. Fescue can grow roots
Gotcha.
3 or 4 foot deep.
Oh, wow. Geez, I didn't know that grass had deeps that depth available to it. Like, I didn't think it even did that.
Yeah, depending on the variety.
Wow.
But yeah, they'll use a lot of fescue on levees
Okay.
because it helps hold all that soil together.
Gotcha. Wow. 3 to 4 feet though. That's crazy. Okay.
It is great.
I'm learning everything, all these things I'm learning about. This is amazing. So, all right. So you guys also do some irrigation things, right? So when do you guys start setting up irrigation systems? Because, we get like second winters all the time here,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yes.
usually Easter's about safe, right? April-ish.
So we generally try and wait until the tail, mid to late April at
Okay.
the soonest. And you hardly need it because we're getting all kinds of regular rain.
Right.
And so when we set up a system, most of the systems we take care of are clients that were already maintaining everything else on their lawn.
Sure.
And so we might set something up for 2 days a week, knowing that we're going to change that later, but we'll set up for 2 days a week. And then we'll leave the system in the off position because we're just getting so much rain.
Right.
And then when the rain starts to subside, we can go in and hit it to run or tell the client, hey, just go turn the knob to this.
Uh-huh.
And then they'll get 2 days a week.
Yep. Okay.
And then as it gets warmer and hotter, drier, then we can go in and alter that, give them 3 days a week.
Okay.
4 days, depending on what our summer's like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're running your irrigation system when we're having a lot of natural precipitation, your grass it doesn't want to build a strong root structure because it doesn't have to. The water's right at the top. So if you're watering in addition to natural precipitation, your grass is getting lazy. So,
I was going to say, it sounds lazy. Grass is lazy, huh?
Yes,
I'll be darned.
And then when it really needs it, you can hardly dump enough on it
Uh-huh.
because it's used to, 3 days of rain each week, plus the 4 days you're trying to give it with your sprinkler system.
Right.
And then it feels like it has to have that when July hits and you're not getting both.
Because what you really want is a deep root system
Mhm.
by the July timeframe.
Yes.
Right.
You want those deep roots in the healthy soil.
Yeah.
That, it isn't just about maintaining your lawn isn't just about having green grass that grows. You want a healthy plant
Yeah.
that grows, and that it'll be more drought tolerant. It'll look better. It'll last longer,
Okay.
be healthier. that
Gotcha.
way.
All right. And that all kind of does make sense. I mean, it's got to start with that soil in
Mhm.
order to get there, right?
Yeah.
Because if the soil is off, then you're not going to get that big root system,
Yes.
and it
Like
can't be happy.
so many
Correct.
different things in our lives. The
Right.
foundation's the most important part.
Makes sense. Yeah, it does. It makes complete sense. So we get a lot of sod here, right? That's where a lot of times it starts. I just built a new house, and we have, I all of a sudden sounded Canadian there. That was weird. But in our new house, we had sod put down, and so sod is typically that fescue kind of mix, right?
Yeah, generally.
So, but we've been in our house for a year, so it clearly didn't get a lot of time to really get that big, deep foundation. So every year, does it start back to trying to get that deep root system growth?
No, I think when your grass will start to just dig deeper and deeper roots,
Uh-huh.
it takes time.
Uh-huh.
And so anytime a yard is freshly sodded, we stay off of it with our aerators in the fall until it's been established for a year.
Okay.
And then after that, it's safe to aerate a yard. But that's going to help it continue to grow deeper and deeper roots. And
So aeration does help do that. then.
Yes.
Okay.
And the older a lawn gets, the more established its root system is.
Gotcha. And you said aeration in fall typically?
Yes.
All right.
There's a few reasons for that.
Yeah.
The main one is when you aerate, it's a great time to seed.
Okay.
If you seed in the spring, that's when you're putting down your pre-emergent, and those don't care. They're going to stop anything from growing. So they don't know that it doesn't know it's a seed versus a weed.
Okay.
So if you seed in the fall in conjunction with aerating, then you give time for that grass seed to germinate,
Sure.
and grow. It starts to get its roots. Then we have winter. Then it is hanging out.
Yeah,
Then
it kind of
it's-
goes dormant
it
a little
does.
bit, right? Yeah.
And then in the spring, it wakes up. It's like, oh, I'm going to get growing again.
Yeah.
You're putting down fertilizer. It's getting rain, all of that. And then it's more of an adult plant when we start to get that hot and dry summer.
Okay, gotcha. So really, it starts to see that maturity in each year in the heat of the summer here, right?
Yes.
Okay, and that's when it also becomes a little bit harder to maintain. That's where you see a lot of people that don't have sprinkler systems and irrigation systems. Their yards start to die out
Yeah, they'll turn brown or go dormant.
Yeah.
They'll get summer dormant.
because they don't know what else to do.
Mhm.
So they just go, oh, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But they're not you really dying. They're not dead. Like they'll come back.
Correct.
It just goes dormant, and that's
Mhm.
when you lose some of that color.
mhm.
Correct.
So what do you have to do in the summer months to keep it from doing that?
Well, the best thing to keep your yard from going dormant in the summer would be to give it deep periodic waterings.
Okay.
And so we recommend that you soak it down 2 days in a row and then give it a day or so to dry out.
Okay.
Soak it down, run your system 2 days in a row, and then let it dry out for a couple days. And so like a lot of our clients say, let's say we're going to mow them on a Friday. Well, then we would make that system run Saturday, Sunday, off Monday, run Tuesday, Wednesday, and then off Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
That way it's nice and dry when we take our equipment out on it.
Sure.
And so I recommend, a homeowner to set that up however works best for them.
Right.
If they're the ones mowing the grass
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
And your mowing height is very important.
That
You
makes
wanna
sense.
Have it, 3-4 inches.
Okay.
Really
In the
like in the
summer.
summer.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The hotter it is, right? So,
The
and then, the hotter it is, the higher you should go.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Now, and then in the winter, you can go and drop it a little bit more, right? From a maintenance perspective.
Yeah. Just before it goes dormant, it's nice to get a nice shortcut in, particularly if you've got a lot of trees in the area.
Mhm.
It helps the leaves blow off.
Okay. That makes sense.
Send them down the road to the neighbor's house.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So, do a lot of people tend to either overwater or not water enough? I mean, we get some weird summers and, springtime. Hopefully we get rain, right? We don't know. We had a weird winter, of course, but we always seem to get weird winters. Does the type of winter you get going into spring change things on your lawn very much?
Yeah. It's good when we get a cold winter, because a cold winter will help kill off a lot of the insects and
Sure.
bugs. If you don't get enough moisture over winter time, then you're starting to spring with a moisture deficiency.
Okay.
So it's good to have, some good snows in the wintertime.
Right.
It's good to have, it really drop down for several weeks, because that kills off a lot of things that we don't want. Otherwise, we'll have higher insect levels.
So you get the bug problems then.
Mhm.
Interesting. I never even thought about the bug problems, because that does make a whole heck of a lot of sense. So the colder winters help kill off the bugs, which helps also be better for your lawn in the long
Correct.
run as well. Okay. So what kind of bugs do we have problems with here in the state of Missouri?
Probably the most common are going to be like grub worms or the Japanese beetles.
Mhm.
They like to eat on your plants, eat the leaves off of them.
Yeah. Are those the ones that also form the weird nests and stuff too?
That would be the tent caterpillars.
Oh,
They'll
yeah.
build that big cocoon looking
Yeah.
thing in your
I don't
tree.
like those things.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then mosquitoes obviously are terrible
Obviously.
here too.
Yeah.
There's not much you can do if you've got a lot of
Bodies of
water,
yeah.
right? Big thing is standing water,
Mhm.
right? So when you get the big, you like the deep soaking water for irrigation purposes.
Correct.
Back-to-back days. I never thought about that.
Yeah, it helps promote the moisture to push down deeper.
Okay.
So you soak it down 2 days in a row and then let it dry
And
out.
give it a drying out
And then
day.
what happens is the lawn gets used to soaks and then dry periods.
Yeah.
So then let's say you go out of town and something goes haywire with your system and it doesn't get water for
Yeah.
4 or 5 days in a row. The lawn is kind of accustomed to some dry periods. And
Sure.
so it staves off your dormancy.
Okay.
And so then eventually you find out, hey, this thing needs water, or we get a rain, and
Yeah.
then the lawn bounces back a lot quicker.
How long on typical like zone times? Is that some people mess up on a lot too?
Yeah, it is. A lot of these irrigation only guys will come out and they'll just set your system Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
And give it, 20 minutes a zone or whatever. A lawn needs 1 inch to 1.5 inches of water per week.
Okay.
Particularly in the summer, you may even have to get to 2 inches. Most systems will put down about 1 inch per hour. So if you were to run a particular zone for an entire hour, you're going to probably get about 1 inch of water.
Got it.
Now you want to break that up over a couple of days. And so that's why so many systems, 20 minutes a zone.
Right.
And you do that 3 times a week, and that's going to get you your hour.
Right.
And so we feel that you're better off to do that 2 days in a row and soak it. And then the roots, as the moisture works its way further down, the roots will tend to follow that.
Gotcha. And you can adjust that based on your schedule, like you were saying too.
Correct.
But that's kind of essentially getting really 4 days of watering in each week.
Yes.
Okay.
And that would be, that's what we shoot for as your max,
Yeah.
just so that you're not overwatering it. So the water's not, the grass isn't over dependent on the irrigation
Sure.
system.
Sure.
And then we do recommend, like if you've got slopes, if you run something for 20 minutes, it might soak in for 5 or 10 and the rest of it's going down the hill.
Right.
And so any yard that's sloped, you still want to give it 20 minutes, but we'll cut all the cycles in half and run it twice through each
Okay.
morning. So you'll still get the 20 minutes, but it's
Right.
10 twice.
Yeah, because otherwise it's going to go down the hill anyway.
Correct.
That makes sense.
So that's a lot of the things that we see of most people.
Sure.
doing.
All right. So then you guys were just out at our house a little bit ago doing what is it? The pre-emergent. Is that
Yeah,
right?
We're getting our crabgrass preventer put down. So
Okay.
it's a fertilizer and it's coated with a pre-emergent.
Okay.
And so when that gets watered in, that pre-emergent makes a little barrier over the lawn. And so when a seed starts to germinate, then that chemical gets inside there and kills it out.
And Jen, that's kind of what you were saying is that doesn't know the difference between growing grass or crabgrass. It's just trying to say, don't
Correct.
stop don't grow anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't seed this time of year
Right.
because
Exactly.
then
Yeah.
you're going to end up seeding everything.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
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 And they're working against each other.
That's
So-
right. Yeah. Yeah. Now, crabgrass is a big problem around here too, right?
Yeah. When it gets hot, it thrives on that.
Yeah.
You know, like last year we had so much rain in the spring that the pre-emergents kind of ran their course sooner than expected. Then we got that drought and the ground started to crack
Yeah.
and boom, that just opens up for
And
all
it finds
sorts
little,
of weeds.
that loves those little holes in that, right? Yeah.
And crabgrass can grow an extensive root system very quickly. So it can establish deep roots and then it grows way faster than regular grass and gets tall.
Uh-huh.
It's wiry, so it's a little difficult to, if it's at the edges of your driveway, you're trying to hit that with a weed eater.
Yeah.
It's tougher to cut than
Yeah.
a fescue would be.
So is it better to pull those things? Is that what?
That or you spray them if you have to.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause
Okay.
pulling them can be hard because again,
It's pretty,
develop
yeah.
roots.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
love the edges because that's the
Uh-huh.
grass, the grass that's living on the edge of your driveway, your sidewalk, all that
Right.
gets the heat off the
Yeah.
pavement and things. And,
Yeah.
sometimes the water doesn't hit all the way over to the edge.
Sure.
So that's the
Yeah.
grass that's always vulnerable to get
Yes.
that crabgrass in there.
Okay.
And
All right.
crabgrass is like, oh,
Yeah.
look, an easy place to
I
live.
got a
How
little
can I-"
place,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Again,
and then that's always where you
laziness.
see first. Yes.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are the areas that stick out,
Mhm.
right? Because there's a little blind spot
Yeah.
there, or a little
Yes.
empty spot. So, all right. So, when you're talking about fertilization, we want to make sure we keep our lawn consistently green and as healthy as we can throughout the year. So, when you guys have on your programs for that, how many treatments do you guys usually see?
So our program is 7 treatments.
Mhm.
And like Jenny had mentioned earlier, we start with a soil test. But our first couple are going to contain fertilizers, pre-emergents.
Okay.
Second round, we'll have broadleaf weed control so that as those things are starting to emerge, we're getting them while they're young and getting that killed off. Our third round includes a grub control treatment. And it's an insecticide that affects things other than grub worms, but the main focus is grub
Okay.
worms, which, tend to come around, July, August and start eating at your turf. And then the grub worms can just eat the root system out, and then the turf has nothing to hold it down, and you can pull up big hunks of it.
That's why you don't want the grub worms, because
No.
it's not like they don't really bother us, right?
Mm-mm.
Correct.
I mean, it's not like they produce flies and mosquitoes and that kind of stuff.
Well, you
right?
get like a June
So-
bug, and then,
Yeah.
if you have hair, they can end up in your hair.
Yeah. Okay.
So
That's
But
not
they'll
good.
eat the roots, and then you can just pull it up like it's
Yeah,
a
that's
piece of
not
sod,
good.
and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
don't
like
want
a
that.
throat
No.
rug.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So something that sets us apart with our grub control, we use a bee-friendly product. And so that doesn't harm the honeybees,
Okay.
which most insecticides do. I mean,
Yeah.
a bee is an insect, and for it,
Yeah.
unfortunately, the insecticides will kill them as well. So
Sure.
we switched over to a golf course grade product that's been out for over a decade. But we switched over to that probably 6-7 years ago. It's a little more costly, but it hits more varieties of grub worms
Yeah.
and other insects. It has a little bit longer residual.
Okay.
Helps us to have a season-long grub control.
Yeah.
So we switched over to that. So that's something that kind of sets us apart from most of our competitors. When I inquire to my suppliers, hey, who else is buying this? Say golf courses. Not a lot of lawn care operators are buying it.
Well, they have pretty good grasses in golf courses.
Yes.
That's one of the things that I've noticed.
Yes.
I don't golf that much though, but
Yeah.
We like mini golf. the best.
Mini-
yeah, there you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so then after our grub, you're going to have a couple summer feedings. We incorporate a lot of humic acid in our program. Humic will help it helps establish a better soil, but it also will help your lawn rebound from stress
Okay.
quicker. So
Which makes sense because in the summer months, that's where it's going to get
it's
stressed
so
out.
stressed.
Right. Yeah.
And so it'll help rebound from that. Then we have a winterizer, which gives a good feeding late in the year so that you can build up the nutrients in the soil and the sugars for the root zone. And then our final application for the season is a soil amendment. So pH is important. If your pH is off, this is our opportunity to get something down and have it soak in over the winter and start to alter your pH.
And then somewhere in there is where you generally see an aeration take place as well.
Yeah, usually for our area, September, October is the best. The end of October gets a little risky,
because you still want that seed to grow, right? Because you usually aerate and then overseed,
correct?
Right.
Yeah, and then like Jenny was saying, that gives you 2 growing seasons. You have, from when you put it down and germination, you have going into winter, and sometimes winter really holds off. I mean, we'll be mowing grass in November, and some of our clients even in December if we haven't had snow. And the roots are just continuing to grow at that point until it gets so cold that the plant goes dormant.
Yeah.
And then you have spring warming up, and then again the roots start to develop, and you have that second season for them to develop before July hits,
right?
Which can really rock a yard. So,
and that's nothing's growing in July.
No,
right? Which I had my sod put down in August, which was awesome.
Oh.
My water bill was great. It was super. It was expensive. I'm not even gonna lie. I was sitting and trying to be sarcastic. I'm like, no, it was terrible.
No,
it was
so
worst
bad.
water
Merry
bill.
Christmas.
Yeah,
Some sod and
it was
water.
so bad. But what are you gonna do? You got to keep it alive, know. And that was the way I looked at it. Is my first year was just keeping my sod alive so that I had the ability to see it thrive later on, right? Because that's all you can do.
We had so many clients call in and say, I must have a leak. My water bill is outrageous. I'm like, no, it's
And I think
we've checked. You don't have a leak.
and I think water rates went up this year, and so it was surprising to a lot of our clients. They're like, "My water bill's never this much," but they were just watering regularly. But
it was
cost more
a lot. But you know what? You have. Do you want to enjoy your space and
absolutely,
having a green yard and beautiful plants is part of it, right?
And it's an investment. Your home's an investment, and you make memories, you have happiness. It's a special sacred place. So you want to take care of it.
You do. Now, when you think about, let's talk a little bit about the mowing and the maintenance side of things as well. So when you mow, do most people tend to overcut? I would think so. Like, that's what I would think, is people tend to cut too short.
Yeah, you don't want to go too short. But it's kind of, you get that retired next door neighbor and he has nothing better to do except mow his grass 3 times a week.
Right.
If he's planned well, if he's followed your advice.
3 times a week is a lot, though.
It is.
That seems like a lot.
Yeah.
What ideally, like, we're 5 days in this, or so. I mean,
all our clients, we put on like a weekly rotation.
I figured weekly. Yeah.
And so we show up once a week and mow it. It's ideal to try not to take more than 1/3 of the plant off at a time.
Okay.
And sometimes that's hard to do in the spring.
Yeah.
Because it's growing like crazy. But then summer hits and, things slow down, and sometimes you're just nicking off a 1/4 inch off that. So,
but still try to keep to that schedule, I would assume, just because of the consistency.
Well, regular consistent mowing. You don't want to have it grow, till it's 12 inches tall and then cut it down to 4.
Right.
Taking off 8 inches. That's really stressful on that plant.
All right. Now, bagging, or do you mulch it?
We mulch everything.
Yeah, well, I think you guys have the cool equipment too.
We've got the big mowers
to really do a good job mulching.
But even homeowners, it's good for that grass that you cut off to stay there and kind of break down and help feed the soil.
And if you do it right, and you don't take a lot off.
Correct.
You can mulch and you don't notice that.
Correct.
Yes. You don't want to leave a big blanket of grass on your grass. That's bad for your lawn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, it doesn't hurt to bag in the spring. And the reason I say that, it grows so much and you are leaving some clippings out there which can get clumpy.
Okay.
The other thing about grass clippings is that there's a lot of moisture in them. Kind of like lettuce is, predominantly moisture. And as you cut those off, that moisture then releases into the soil. Well, if we're already getting a lot of rain,
right,
you're just adding moisture to the soil, which makes the grass grow faster.
Sure.
And so in the spring, if you have to get out there, if you bag it, you'll notice a slight reduction in how fast it grows because you're getting some of that moisture up out of it.
Gotcha.
So,
okay. So don't feel terrible about bagging if it's because you needed to cut a little bit too much off, or because you don't want it to just lay there.
And
correct.
You'd rather bag it than rake it.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, no, that would be awful.
raking's not the most fun job.
But now you guys really don't have to bag with your mowing equipment because you guys have the larger decks that really do a better job mulching
Correct.
as well.
With the big deck, and we're able to go over a yard so fast that if we have to start at one height and then cut it a different direction
sure.
at a slightly lower, and sometimes we'll go over a lawn 3 times, and then we've got the great big blowers, and so if you got clumps out there, you can get out there and blow the clumps away.
Yeah.
Or we can windrow it very easily and scoop that up into some totes and get rid of it if we have to. So,
well, for me, the mowing isn't the challenge; it's the trimming. The trimming is so rough, and I try to do it myself. It gets me out enjoying things. Plus, I have my kids, and I try to get them to do it, but they don't do it anymore. So, and you guys have kids, you get this.
We do.
You know, we try, but they work in the business too.
our kids,
So,
several of them do.
Yeah, is that fun? Being able to work with the kiddos?
It's fun for me.
Yeah.
When they do what I need them to do.
Yeah, because you still have to be the boss and the dad kind of thing,
And
right?
sometimes, work doesn't end when you get home. It
It
comes
does.
in.
Well, I know how that works. Yes. So,
But no,
yeah.
it's amazing to also see your kids learn how to do a skill that, people think, oh, mowing grass, it's not that big of a deal. But, when you're putting stripes and, you want to trim it well and things like that, it is a skill. Like
of course.
Those machines are dangerous. And
Yeah.
so you want to know what you're doing. But, it's fun when, you look at, you're watching the baseball game and you see the arch that they've done in Busch Stadium and the field just looks beautiful and all that. That's all stuff that you have to think about to
It's
make
an
it
art.
happen. Mhm.
Well, and that doesn't just start with mowing and that's it, right? It starts with all those different steps
It
to get you
does.
there.
All those
Correct.
Yeah.
things that help you get a healthy turf.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right. Now, how is it working? I mean, family-owned business, it's fun, it's exciting, but to your point, and I relate to this because my wife, Stacy, and I struggle with this all the time. It is hard to sometimes turn things off when you get home.
It is. Sometimes our dinner conversation is,
Yeah.
what happened at this
Talking about
person's
clients
house or
and-
this,
Yeah.
or, how do we talk about that? And then there's just sometimes that we're like, it'll be 10:30 at night. And I'm like, we're done working.
Yeah.
Go-
But my brain is never done working. It's
That's that small business ownership thing.
Yeah.
I always tell people as a business owner, you are, it's a curse and a blessing at the same time, right?
Yes.
You're always working, but you love what you do.
Mhm.
So it's great. And it can be kind of a hobby at times, but it also does mean, there's always, you're never 100% off the clock.
No, never.
Correct.
That doesn't happen.
No.
You can be 100% on the clock, but maybe the best case is you're 10% off the clock.
Yeah.
Like it's so tough.
Yeah.
And even when you're traveling, you go to other places and you look at how other businesses are doing it, or you talk to
Yeah.
colleagues in your industry and you're like, oh, well, that's really exciting how they do this. And I want to implement that. Or, you find a new vendor for, something.
Sure.
Or, we just started a new referral program with a company. And so, you're constantly, and that's the beautiful part of entrepreneurship.
It is.
It's the freedom to do your business the way you want
The
to.
way you want to,
Mhm.
your message, right? But there's all the different hats. You've got to do the
Mhm.
marketing aspect of it because, even though you just want to help people have a wonderful, beautiful yard, it's not just that simple. You still have to make sure that you can actually find people that want to have a good
Yes.
yard.
Yeah.
Like
That they
that's
can
not just
find you.
happen. They have to find
Yes.
you,
Yeah.
right? And technology has become what it is. We were talking a little bit about this off air, but in some ways it's great. But you have to understand how to work with technology to help people find you
Mhm.
as well.
Well, and this is what year? Or-
Yeah, I was going to say this business is so different than it was when I started it 35 years ago.
Yeah, I was going to say 30-something years, isn't it?
So much technology now, and
Yeah.
it's hard when you're older. It's hard to implement that. And
Our
so-
marketing budget was, how big do we want this Yellow Pages ad? to be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the beauty of having our kids working with us or younger people is that they understand so much more of the tech
Sure.
and the social media. And so we've always just done door hangers, and our kids hate doing door hangers.
They still are a thing though, aren't they?
They are still a
I think
thing.
that's a thing you have to do. Yeah.
But there's a Saturday a month or a year that everyone, we
get the
pile
whole
in the
family.
car. I drop people off on this corner. I go pick people up over there. And
Nice.
everybody hates it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's door hangers. One of our daughters got married and had a baby. She's like, I can't do door hangers anymore.
No. So now, I'm appealing to our sons. Well, what should we do? What do you think we should do? You come up with some ideas and help us figure out how we get these touches in on clients, so that they see us and know that we're out there.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's a big deal because your yard's not going to get green if they don't know about it, right? That's
Right.
that's it. People don't have to find that. So,
Yeah.
well, it's awesome. It's so fun talking to business owners, and it's a great time of year to think about maintaining your yard, what it takes to make sure you have a green landscape throughout the year. So, guys, thank you so much for coming and sharing a little bit. I can't wait to see what my yard looks like all season long.
and
So,
we're excited.
Thank you.
thank you, guys. This is that cool time of year when we start to see the transition of our lawns taking shape, our flowers starting to bloom, our trees starting to bud. All that exciting stuff starts to be seen right here in that early springtime. And it doesn't start there. That's just where we see it start to come to life, start breathing, start to come into a new form, a new season, right? And it's cool to see. It's really pretty to see. I love it. It's one of my favorite times of year. But it doesn't start there. It starts with the nutrition side of things. It starts with the nutrients getting into the soil, making sure you have the right maintenance plan throughout. Sometimes we have more rain. We have to adjust our schedule. Sometimes we have less rain, and we need to make sure we provide a little bit more nutrient to the soil. We need to make sure we have a little bit more water going in, right? Things shift. The economy shift too, and we need to make sure we have a right plan of attack, whether it's our grass and our lawns or whether it's our financial situation. The economy does shift over time. We have to make sure we can adjust. We have to make some tweaks. Our lives change from time to time. We have to adjust and tweak for those things as well. It doesn't have to be huge transitions. It doesn't have to be a big shift, a whole paradigm shift, but having the right conversations so that when you have a slight shift in your lifestyle or what's going on in the markets tends to change as well, we need to make sure we're nimble enough to adjust accordingly. But most importantly, we want to make sure our income is protected. I think that's the key. We want to make sure we can fuel our fun no matter what's going on in the world around us. And it takes a little bit of guidance. It takes a little bit of nutrients into your plan. You got to make sure you have that maintenance, right? It is important. It is your future, and we want to make sure it's well protected. So information on Showcase Lawn is right on our website, Serenity.wealthnow.com. Tune in each and every week. We have great local guests that come on and talk a little bit about their business, give us some great topics to discuss relevant to the time we're going through as well, and some great financial information as well. So tune in each and every week, Serenity Wealth Now show. Check us out, SerenityWealthNow.com, and we'll be talking to you real soon.
Serenity Now! This is Serenity Wealth Now with Chris Cooper. Request a free copy of Chris's latest book, The New Holistic Retirement, by visiting SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors.